Think for a minute. What is your country's most important cultural holiday? Because in the United States, without a doubt, it is our Independence Day, celebrated on the 4th of July each year. This is historically the day that the 13 American colonies declared independence from Britain. But this is not a history lesson. This is an English lesson because this holiday contains so much cultural information that can help you to be a better communicator in English with Americans and with any other English speakers. And that's what I'm talking about today, is how you can use this information from this holiday to become a better, more fluent, confident, and effective English speaker. This holiday is known to be about food, apple pie, fireworks, and freedom. You may have noticed that Americans really love to celebrate our freedom, and that's really at the core of this holiday and our culture. Now, the problem is a lot of people who learn English believe that it's simply grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. These three things are important, but the fourth element that you really need to know to become a fluent English speaker is culture, cross-culture communication. So today, I'm going to share what we can learn from the 4th of July to help you to become a better English speaker. Without this information, you're not going to be as effective with your English speaking. You might be able to make sentences to communicate an idea, but you won't be able to do high-level skills like negotiate successfully, have a convincing argument, or even succeed in the workplace. Because of course, our American culture is very much a part of our American workplace. So if you hope to work with American counterparts or in an American company, these values that we can learn from Independence Day are essential for you to know. Americans love to believe certain history or stories surrounding the 4th of July, our Independence Day. But I recently learned in a Washington Post article that most of these most popular stories are just stories. They're not true, but they were created by writers, historians, and just regular people to create this culture around the holiday that furthers our values, our American values. So it's really our values that are creating the history and the stories around the holiday, and not necessarily the history that is creating our values. It's something interesting to think about. The first myth that a lot of Americans believe is that to declare independence, a little blue-eyed, blonde-haired boy rang a big bell called the Liberty Bell to declare independence. Ding dong, ding dong, just like that. And every year we have thousands of tourists who visit this Liberty Bell. But this story is not true. It was actually created by an author for a children's book in the 19th century. Another interesting fact is that the 4th of July is neither the date that independence was declared, nor the date that the official document, the Declaration of Independence, was actually signed, and the public didn't actually know that independence was declared until early the following year, 1777. The 4th of July was kind of created as a mix of these dates, and we celebrate for really unknown reasons on this day, but it's around the time of when our founding fathers declared independence and the actual declaration was signed. What we do know for sure is that Americans love to celebrate our freedom on the 4th of July and every day. And this is a big part of how we communicate with each other. So if you have ever spoken English with an American or anyone who speaks English really, especially native speakers and especially Americans, you may notice that the way we communicate, the way we make decisions, the pacing at which we speak, how much we speak, it may be different from the way that you speak English. And it's not just because you're learning English, it's because culturally we have some differences. So I want to explain several of these differences that come from our love of freedom and our independence. They actually really influence our communication in English a lot. See, American English speakers really believe in our personal freedom. And so the way that we speak and make decisions is really based on our personal freedom. For example, a typical American will believe that it is okay to interrupt someone else when they're speaking if you have something important to say, or even if you're just really excited about what you have to say. Americans are also often overly confident, and we will step in and say we can do something even if we've never done it before. If we believe that we can do something, even though we don't have proof of our ability to do it, we will still say, yes, we can. We love having the freedom to make our own decisions and fast. It can be painful for us to wait for a group of people to decide or to wait for direction from management. This can manifest in everyday decisions such as where do we go to lunch as a group? Well, if the group can't decide quickly, I might decide just to do my own thing and say, hey guys, I'm gonna go have lunch by myself over here. I'll catch you next time. And that would be perfectly normal. Because the fact that you are taking a long time is now infringing on my personal ability to make a fast decision. So we're not really known for having a lot of patience because we love to be able to exercise our freedom, our personal freedom to do what we want, when we want, however we want to do it. And this, for better or worse, is the American way. We also really value our personal space. So we may have a larger imaginary bubble around us of how close we're comfortable getting with other people, especially people who we don't know yet. And this is especially true nowadays. We also really believe in self-reliance, the ability to help oneself and rely on oneself. So this is often a problem because it's difficult for many of us to ask for help or admit that we need help if we really need it. We also can be quite offended if we feel anyone is infringing on our personal freedoms. So what can we learn from this? And how can you actually communicate better knowing these points about American English speakers? Well, first of all, you might have to be a little bit more assertive than usual. Jump into conversation, speak your mind, speak up, share your opinion, and be more confident than usual. Use interjections to interrupt, like I think, or well, or maybe we could think about, how about, or I have something to say. If you do need time to make a decision and you can't decide right away as quickly as someone else would like you to, just let them know that you need more time. This is totally acceptable. It's the not knowing if you need more time that can drive people crazy. So just say, I need some time to think about it, or let me think about it, or I'll let you know in X amount of time, an hour, a week, whatever makes sense. Be aware of personal space, observe other people, and keep your distance, especially nowadays. If you need help, if you're unclear about something or you have a challenge, don't be afraid to ask for help. You actually must ask for help because other people may not offer their help as readily or as quickly as people may in your culture because we don't want to offend you. Americans believe that if I offer you help, it's like I'm saying that I can see you're struggling. I can see that you're not able to be self-reliant, and that could actually be offensive to you. Does that make sense? So you need to ask for help if you need it. If you want to tell an American that they cannot do something, try to avoid telling them you cannot do this because that feels like an attack on our personal freedoms. For example, many people are offended that they're being told you must wear a face mask. What Americans need in order to understand that they cannot do something is a reason. Of course, we know the reasons behind face masks. I'm not going to talk specifically about that, but if you want to have a better chance telling an American not to do something, tell them the reason why. We want to understand why and feel like we're making our own decision to not do something because it makes sense to us. So instead of just saying, no, you cannot do that, that's bad, try giving us a reason, and then we will comply quite easily. I hope that these tips are helpful. Really, it's more than an English lesson today. It's a cultural lesson to help us to communicate better across cultures. I think that Independence Day is a wonderful holiday, and I love my culture. I love learning about other cultures as well. If you've noticed that Americans act in these certain ways, then let me know in the comments. I'd love to continue the conversation with you there. Now you know some tips and tricks to help you communicate more effectively, more confidently in English, especially with Americans. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And visit GoNaturalEnglish.com where we have hundreds of free English lessons as well as our premium audio ebook, The English Fluency Formula, and our premium complete online English training course, Fluent Communication. It's there ready for you to learn more about so you can become fluent in English fast. We're here to help you. So I'll see you there at GoNaturalEnglish.com, or if you'd like to continue learning for free here on YouTube, I recommend that you learn 8 ways to sound more American. I'm going to post that right up there. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.